Okay, so we're group 8 and we did the myth of Prometheus. I'm Joseph Scalia.
I'm Ali Andrade.
I'm Jake Lefferding.
I'm Claire Nauman.
Oh, I think you muted Caslin.
And I'm Caslin Widebetter, sorry.
The story of Prometheus. Prometheus is a Greek mythic figure. The myth goes that he stole the fire from Greek gods and gave it to humanity, along with the gift of metalworking, and was eternally punished for it by the gods. The punishment for giving fire to humanity. Prometheus is chained to a rock for eternity. Eagles peck out his liver every day, and every night he grows it back. The cycle finally ends when he is freed by Heracles.
So Prometheus was not the only mythological figure to steal fire. There's several other ones. So many indigenous people of the Americas tell stories of spirits, animals, and deities that stole fire. Several Indo-European cultures besides Greek also have Prometheus-adjacent myths. Karmat is from the mostly obsolete Vanik religion, and he is very similar to Prometheus. Like Prometheus, he stole fire from the gods for the good of humanity, and as punishment, he was chained to a mountain with a falcon that eats his liver daily. The Georgian myth of Amirani is nearly the same. At the height of Greek civilization, the empire stretched all the way to modern Turkey, which is in the northern Caucasus, the area where Vanek was born. It's hard to say who created this mythic figure who stole fire and was punished by birds, as all of these cultures were very intertwined and developing around the same time. The next is Maui, who is a Polynesian mythological figure that most people know from the movie Moana. According to myth, fire was a gift from gods that no one really understood. Maui was curious about where fire came from and asked the goddess of fire to show him. She threw her burning fingernails at him until one struck some plants and the plants caught fire. After learning this, he went back to his village and taught his people how to rub sticks together and begin making fires. The last one is the possum from Mazatec myth. He is one of the many Mesoamerican spirit creatures with a story about stealing fire. In this story, an ember fell from a star, but an old woman hid it and kept it for herself. The possum stole the fire from her to give back to the world, carrying it on its tail. He got the fire back to the people, but by the time he carried it all that way, his tail was completely hairless. Now all possum tails are hairless because of that sacrifice.
A little bit about the background. Prometheus first appeared in ancient Greek art around 700-600 BCE. The ancient Greeks strived to control the land around the Mediterranean Sea, as you can see in the map in the next slide. In 776 BCE, the first Olympic Games were held in honor of Zeus, the god Prometheus stole fire from. Ancient Greece fell from the Romans because of the war and fire in 146 BCE.
Okay, so here's the map that she was talking about above. I'll also be talking about it in my slide a little bit. So the story of Prometheus comes from ancient Greek culture. So obviously this is a map of ancient Greece. And as you can see, their territory stretches out a little bit into what is modern day Turkey in the east. And then in the north, the territory stretches out into what is modern day Macedonia and Albany. And so a little bit about Greek culture is the ancient Greeks were an ancient civilization of great thinkers, warriors, actors, athletes, artists, architects, and politicians. The ancient Greek civilization began in 1200 BCE and ended in 323 BCE. The ancient Greeks had developed one of the most advanced civilizations of the ancient world. One of the many ways the ancient Greeks told their stories was through Greek mythology. Greek mythology was used as a means to explain the environment in which humankind lived, the natural phenomenon they witnessed, and the passing of time through the days, months, and seasons. We are able to tell what the Greeks thought of fire through mythology. They perceived fire with qualities associated with energy, assertiveness, and passion. Through the stories of Prometheus, we obtain an even greater idea of what the ancient Greeks thought about fire.
How did Prometheus impact the ancient Greeks? Prometheus was famous for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to man. In some versions of the story, Prometheus created humans out of clay. He was also credited as the author of the human arts and sciences. His gift of fire was seen as the spark that ignited the growth of civilization. As the Greek civilization grew, as did their self-awareness and control of fire. Fire became a major driving factor of society. People had access to more minerals and tools, driving the cultivation of the ancient Greeks. One example fire impacted the ancient Greek culture was it gave them the ability to use oven-dried soils to create bricks, shelters, and arts instead of using air-dried clays that were brittle.
What lessons can be learned from this myth? The first lesson that comes down to us from Greek mythology is the importance of civil disobedience. When Prometheus presents Zeus with two options during a sacrificial meal, Zeus chooses the options of bones and fat, which means that from then on, humans would be able to get to enjoy the meat. Prometheus's main idea during this meal is the fact that his wards will get the main benefit of their own labor, therefore being rewarded meat. This act angered Zeus, though, and he reacted by taking fire away from humans. This story set the dawn of the human race, and the first thing that it tells us is that when left to our own devices, people in power will most likely take the best of what we have. The second lesson that can be learned revolves around the idea of modern technology. Humans relied on fire for millennia, from Stone Age to Industrial Age. But the 20th century science gave us a new technological threat, that being nuclear science. Just as with old fire, this fantastic tool took human civilization to unimagined new heights. So what does this Greek myth teach us about how we use modern technology? When Prometheus stole the fire from the gods, there were unintended consequences. He thought by bringing humans a tool, he would make their lives better in every sense, but powerful technology must be used responsibly. Giving humans fire also meant giving humans a moral choice to use the tool for good or for evil.
All right, so this is a little bit of our works cited page, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it.